Hey everybody, it's Friday and it's time for some Optimism 101. Although, if I must say something, I actually am recording this on a Thursday because I have energy today, and tomorrow I'm going to be packing for my trip to Florida for the first time back in a month. But I'll have my hands busy with that. I wanted to talk today. We have been having this series on optimism and change, and the last lecture or video we talked about how we have to take change little by little, not to choke ourselves or overwhelm ourselves with a lot of changes in our lives. And one of the things that once we start on that journey to change, to growth, because really change is the door to growth, we see that it's really hard to not look back. And when we go into a path which we might not know the final destination, right? We go into something and we face the unknown, we face uncertainty. It's easier sometimes to look back and try to go to what we know, to what maybe felt somewhat good in the past. But we realized at the same time that what was in the past was not working, or we outgrew whatever situation we were in the past. And so it takes courage to continue forward and to move on and to really take those steps, small steps forward, and to change ourselves. And that obviously, like, one of the things that I also wanted to say is that in this regard, we're talking about change when it is intrinsic, right? When we are motivated by our own desire to change something, whether it's about ourselves, about work, about relationships, and it's born within us. But we also are faced sometimes with changes that are brought up by other people, by situations, by just life, right? We are here today, we don't know what we're gonna be doing tomorrow. And when that happens, we should kind of also try to adapt in a way that is healthy for us and that is not overwhelming us. And what I mean by that is that we can't keep being the same when everything around us has changed, when everything around us is different. We can't live the same way we did like before COVID. We can't live the same way we did before, all of these manifestations of Me Too movements, of racial justice like Black Lives Matters. We can't live in the past like we did before. So we need to change and adjust with that. And that's the only way progress is made, through change. And although it is certainly a path that we don't know what's gonna bring, we know from the past that things were not better, things were not good or equitable for everybody. And so and that goes in a population level and also in a personal level. When we embrace change, when we embrace progress, we grow, and so we have space to grow from those past experiences. We have place to grow from the past and bloom, really, rise from the past, even if it's really hard. And I think that one of the things that I've recently learned how to deal with, and it has been very hard, is sadness, and the sadness of leaving behind that past and going through the sadness and letting it flow, so that it can just go away and you can be happy and find joy. But all of that takes effort, takes work, takes consciousness, self-awareness, and oftentimes we find it easier to just do a little kind of like empanada. And that's what I call things in Colombia, when they do something just to kind of get away with it, but they don't really put effort into design or aesthetics or things like that. So it might be really easy to, maybe delete pictures from your feeds, from social media, or change your profile, or close a profile and open a new one. I've done it myself. But really, change comes from within, and that's not something that you can publish on social media. That's not something that you can see, really. It is something that is actually intangible, and it actually translates into the relationships that you build and the way you carry yourself in the future and in the present. It's just a different way of being, and it is a difficult journey, but you also have to see that things can be better. And optimists oftentimes see that possibility that we could do better. Pessimists might think, well, things are the way they are, I'm always going to be this way, and just continue with cycles and cycles that repeat themselves in families, in jobs, in relationships, and just you're stuck in a cycle, like a what do you call those? The hamster in a little wheel. And so, I think that the best kind of characters are those that are not flat, but that come full circle, in the sense that there's growth, there's change, and there is a certain learning lesson that they take. And hopefully what you want to do, or I don't know, at least what I want to do, is have an open and a warm heart. And that has been the hardest, especially when we get hurt, when we go through difficult times, because our not by default, but at least for me, it's always like but and I feel that those are basic responses from humans. We either fear or flight, right? We fight or flight when we're in fear. So we respond with aggression or we escape. And oftentimes we have to program ourselves to then pause and say, wait a minute, how do I want to respond to this? But I think, and I don't want to go off topic because I think I've covered a lot of things today, but in the general sense, it's hard to move forward. It's hard to find a new journey. It's hard to continue making steps towards a new you, because in a way there are some people and some situations that are going to be left behind, and you have to learn that some things are meant to be for a specific time in your life, and some people also for a specific time in your life, and that not everybody goes on that journey forward with you. But sometimes the people who love you the most, the people who are really there for you, will always be there. So it's not that you're losing them, it's that you are going forward, and eventually when you see them again, it'll be like not a day has gone by since you last saw them. Because in essence, we continue to be the same. What changes is the things that we learn, the things that help us become better human beings.